note that today's hearing is being live streamed on YouTube as part of a six-month pilot project. Good morning and welcome. In accordance with Section 45 and 53 of the Planning Act, 1990 as amended, this meeting of the Committee of Adjustment is called to order. The Committee of Adjustment considers applications for minor variances from the provisions of the zoning bylaw, permissions to extend or alter lawful non-conforming uses, and consents to create new lots. Hearing procedure. To ensure a fair and timely hearing, I will vet the agenda to determine which applications can be dealt with immediately and which applications require more in-depth review. I will call each item in the order listed on the agenda and ask if anyone other than the agent or the applicant is present in interest and wishes to address the committee. If there are people in interest, the matter will be held until all non-contested applications have been cleared from the agenda. If your item is held, we strongly advise you to meet with the interested parties outside of the hearing room in an effort to resolve any concerns or issues. If no person is present in interest, the agent, or the applicant will proceed with their presentation if required. The committee may ask questions and or take the matter into the committee for a decision. Making your submissions. Each speaker, including the agent or applicant, will be given a maximum of 5 minutes to address the committee. When addressing the committee, please come forward to the podium, clearly state your name and address, and file a decision request card so that we have correct information for our records. If you have a written submission that you need to read from, please hand it to Madam Deputy Secretary Treasurer when you are done. First, the applicant or agent will make a presentation to the committee of the application as submitted. Then individuals, either in support or opposed to the application, will be allowed to speak. If there are several speakers sharing the same view, please select a spokesperson to present the group's opinion. We want to hear your views. However, covering the same topics or points will not advance your cause. Committee members may ask questions of each speaker at the end of their submission. When all speakers are finished, the applicant has an opportunity to rebut only the related issues that were raised. The matter will then be taken into committee for decision. This will mark the end of all discussion. Please remember to confine your remarks to the matters outlined in the application. The decision. If you do not agree with the committee's decision, you may file an appeal. As of May 3rd, almost all appeals will be dealt with by a new tribunal called the Toronto Local Appeal Body, or TLAB. For more information about the TLAB, please visit the TLAB or the C of A website. Appeal instructions will be included at the bottom of every decision. In order to receive a copy of the committee's decisions and to be informed of appeal proceedings, you must fill out the decision request card referred to earlier. Please include your email address, as TLAB will be sending notifications and appeal updates by email. Please leave your completed form with the Deputy Secretary Treasurer or a member of her staff, which are seated to my right, and decisions will be mailed within 3 business days. Okay, now we will move forward with the confirmation of last meeting minutes. Panel members, I'll need a motion.
I'll move a motion to approve the minutes, Madam Chair.
I'll second that.
Okay, so a motion has been approved by Ms. Owen, second by Ms. Hayes. Okay, all in favor? Okay. Dissent or abstain? No. Are there any declaration of interest at this time?
No, Madam Chair.
Okay, so there's no declaration of interest. Madam Deputy Secretary Treasurer, are there any files to be closed?
Through you, Madam Chair, no, there are no files today to be closed, unless there's somebody in the room who wants to withdraw their application.
Okay, so are there any applicants who wish to withdraw their application at this time? So just as a reminder, please note that the committee will not be entertaining extensive revisions to proposal at the hearing today. In this instance, your application will be deferred to ensure revisions are accurate and that all interested parties are informed of the changes. Okay, so now I'll move forward with vetting the agenda. So application number 1, 73 Grenadier Road. Do we have the applicant or agent here? Okay, do we have any interested parties? Item number 2, 72 Lawlor Avenue, agent or applicant. Any interested parties? Item number 3, 109 Belwoods Avenue, agent or applicant. Any interested parties? Item number 4, 102 Lesmount Avenue, agent applicant. Any interested parties? Item number 5, 37 Lakeview Avenue, agent or applicant. Any interested parties? Item number 6, 60 Garnock Avenue, agent applicant. Any interested parties? Item number 7, 40 Robert Street, agent applicant. Any interested parties? Item number 8, 16 Pearson Avenue, agent applicant. Any interested parties? Okay, so we have interested parties. So if you can please step outside and discuss any concerns of issues. Item number 9, 390 Belsize Drive, agent applicant. Any interested parties? Okay, no interested parties for number 9. Item number 10, 1 Hazel Avenue, agent applicant. Any interested parties? No. Item number 11, 636 Manning Avenue, agent applicant. Any interested parties? Item number 12, sorry. Yeah, interested party? Yes. Okay, so if we can have please the agent and the interested party step outside and discuss any outstanding issues. Item number 12, 222 O'Connor Drive, agent applicant. Any interested parties? Item number 13, 35 Woodfield Road, agent applicant. 35 Woodfield Road, sorry? Okay, so are there any interested parties? Are you an interested party? Okay, any interested party then beside the owner of the house? No? Okay, so we'll just proceed with that one. Item number 14, 153 Atlas Avenue, agent applicant. 153 Atlas Avenue. Okay, so we'll just hold that down. Number 15, 457 Jones Avenue, agent applicant. Any interested parties? Item number 16, 41 Alcorn Avenue, agent applicant. Any interested parties? Item number 17, 62 Chester Hill Road, agent applicant. Any interested parties? Item number 18, 417 Kingswood Road, agent applicant. Any interested parties? Item number 19, 8 Frank Crescent, agent applicant. Any interested parties? Item number 20, 41 Walker Avenue, agent applicant. Any interested parties? Item number 21, 79 Coleridge Avenue, agent applicant. Any interested parties? Item number 22, 286 Jones Avenue, agent or applicant. Any interested parties? Item number 23, 3 Gore Street, agent applicant. Any interested parties? Item number 24, 759 Euclid Avenue, agent or applicant. Okay, any interested parties? Item number 25, 184 Rushton Road, agent applicant. Any interested parties? Okay, so we'll now proceed with the non-contested items. Item number 1, 73 Grenadier Road. So if we can have please introduce yourself and your address.
My name is Eric Turcott. I'm the owner and applicant for the property at 73 Grenadier Road.
Okay, just before we proceed, the committee has before us a plan of study, site plan, floor plans, and elevations, and then we have the cover letter from yourself.
Wonderful. Could I use the projector?
Sure. Panel members, do we need a presentation?
No.
So if you can just quickly, if you can just quickly show us what you want to show us, but we don't really need a presentation because we believe that this application.
Okay.
Just proceed? Okay.
Let's proceed to it then. Yes, thank you very much. So as described in the application, I'm coming here for a request for minor variance. The house, it's located at 73 Grenadier Road. It's a rear addition, so there's an existing one-story addition at the back of the house.
Okay.
And I'm currently will be demolishing the first level. I will be keeping the existing foundation, so there's no increase in the overall footprint of the buildings, and I will be putting a two-story addition on the existing addition. The only variance deals with the GFA and the maximum density.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Panel members, do we have any questions?
No.
No? Okay, would you like to move forward with a motion?
Through you, Madam Chair, this variance is indeed minor, meets the 4 tests, and it does not change the character of the neighborhood. Therefore, I would move approval of the application.
Okay, a motion to approve has been moved by Ms. Owen.
I'll second.
Okay, second by Ms. Hayes. All in favor? Okay, so the application has been approved. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, item number 2, 72 Lawlor Avenue. The committee has in front of us copy of plan of survey, site plan, floor plans, and elevations, and we also have a report from community planning. If you can please introduce yourself.
I'm Robert Espiritu Santo. I'm the agent of the owner. We'd like to defer this application for now because we did receive that letter from planning just last week, and we haven't had the opportunity to speak to them.
Okay, panel members? Do we have any questions?
Honestly, I would ask the committee if we really think this is an appropriate deferral. The application is for the purpose of a front walkout. The issue that planning has,
Sorry, if we can please have silence in the room?
the issue that planning has is with a front walkout. I would suggest that this might be a time to just have a hearing because I mean, the question is this proceed or not? Ultimately, I don't think there's a lot of visions meaningful here.
This is my turn.
Yes?
Sorry, if you can speak louder.
All right. I would
Carlson.
think this is the time to consider whether a deferral is appropriate. The application is for the purpose of creating a front walkout. The difficulty planning has is with the creation of a front walkout. I think this is the time when the decision we need to make is do we approve that or not? And I don't think there's a lot of meaningful revisions to be made here.
Any other comments?
I would agree with Mr. Carlson's comments.
I would agree as well. Any other any negotiations or such would probably result in different application altogether.
Okay. Just for interest, so I would just ask the agent, what are your plans in terms of addressing the comments outlined in the planning report?
We tried to speak to the planner regarding why front walkouts not permitted, because around the neighborhood there are a number of front walkouts, and we'd like to know if we could still have the front walkout but come out to the side as opposed to coming out directly to the front. And they haven't returned my call.
Okay.
I think the report's suggesting that the walkout be put inside in a small vestibule, like inside the building.
There's hardly any room in the front.
And then you wouldn't need a variance probably anyway, because it wouldn't impact the front.
The side yard, it's only about 2 or 3 feet. It's not very much room for a side entrance if we're gonna come through the side and then have a vestibule going down to the basement. There's a bathroom in the basement at the rear and a brand new deck, and that's why the owner doesn't want to have a walkout through the rear also.
Okay. Do you have any evidence from the neighborhood showing us that front basement walkouts are common in the neighborhood?
Yes, I have some.
Okay, so if you can just present this to us. We're proceeding with the hearing, yeah.
So is yeah, LM deferral rejected.
Sorry, my printer wasn't working properly.
That's okay.
Swanswick Avenue is around the corner from Lawlor, and there is a walkout here.
Okay. So if you can also give us the addresses, so.
That's 188 Swanswick.
Okay.
And then right next door to that, there's another walkout at 188. $190. There's another walkout here.
So can you,
Where's Swanwick?
in relation to the property?
There, my printer stopped working, but I have a Google map in a flash drive. Is there any way I can connect to it?
No, I don't think so, no. Well, we have this map in our application. Do you want to use this as a reference to show us where? We don't have Swanwick on this map, but maybe perhaps like in the vicinity you can show us where it is in relation to. Yes. If I can have it back as well.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. It runs north, it runs east-west north of Lawlor, but
Quite a distance?
Lawlor here, and then Swanwick is right up here.
Okay. Okay, so if I can have that back. Panel members, do we have any other questions?
Why are you seeking to pave the entire front of the property? I mean, I see it's permeable, it's proposed, and I do see there's limited opportunity for landscaping, but why are you proposing pavers in front of the new walkout?
We could remove those and put sod on it.
Do you know what that would result in terms of the soft landscaping? What percentage you'll be bringing back in if you remove the pavers? So if we can have silence in the room, because we're in a, excuse me, we're in a hearing.
Basically, the approval of the pavers is 47.69%. And our landscaping is not zero, it's actually 14.69. So we could have just a little over 60%.
Okay. Would you like to make a revision then to your variance? Yeah? Okay, so
How can you go from 0?
So would you like to make an adjustment then to 60%?
Yes.
Do you know what that is in meters squared? Let me just add it up. $705.
don't think that the front yard on the site statistics aligns with how planning is assessed it at all. I mean, it does, the site statistics page says 7.6 soft, and so.
Can't hear you.
I don't think these numbers are lining up. Is that I see what the applicant is speaking to on the site statistics. That doesn't align with how planning is assessed it.
Because currently, based on the zoning review, you have 0%. You're asking for 0%.
Yeah.
The 14% is not even included in the current assessment of the existing.
Yeah, I'm frankly, I don't know where the 7.6% comes from, but
Well, we do have some soft landscaping at 1.66 meters squared, and permeable pavers are 5.39 square meters.
can you speak to where is that soft landscaping, and do you know why planning is?
It's in between 70 and 72, and then in front of the permeable pavers where the property line to the sidewalk, it's all sod, so we were going to just create a little walkway, but we don't have to have that walkway. We could just sod everything.
Okay, panel members, how would you like to proceed?
Committee and
So would,
Are you allowing the amendment, or are you going to deal with it as submitted?
Deal with it.
because of the inconsistencies in terms of the calculations, we're just going to deal with the application as submitted.
I just have one question. Is there any front walkouts on Lawlor Avenue?
I haven't looked. These are the addresses the owner had given to me.
Okay. Yep. Panel members, any more questions? Are we in committee? Discussion?
Madam Chair, I have a problem with the application. And this is for not just for this applicant, but for any other applicant who come before us, that they need to be prepared and to be able to justify what they're requiring. And so I'm having some problem with this application. I'm not going to be supporting it.
Okay.
I would agree. The front walkout I have issues with in this context, and what it does to the soft landscaping is impossible to justify, in my view. So unless there's more discussion, I would move refusal of the application as it does not meet the intent of the official plan or the zoning bylaw.
Okay. So a motion has been put forward to refuse this variance application.
Seconded.
Okay, by Mr. Carlson, second by Mr. Russell. All in favor? All in favor? Okay. The application has been refused. Item number 3, 109 Belwoods Avenue. The committee has in front of us a plan of survey, site plan, floor plans, and elevations. We also have a report from community planning. So if you can please introduce yourself.
Yeah, good morning, the member of Committee of Adjustment. My name is Victor Lang. I'm the designer and agent for the property at 109 Belwoods Avenue.
Okay, thank you.
First of all, I'll just briefly introduce the project.
Panel members, do we need just 1 second, sir. Panel members, do we need a presentation?
Yeah, just I just want to explain the extension of the garage. Yeah.
Okay. So yes, you can
Okay.
continue with the presentation.
First of all, Oh, yeah, this is the garage, called garage. Yeah, and this is the extension of garage. So this is the land. This is the house. So, yeah, this is the floor plan, and so this is the original the garage. So this is the extension of the garage. The total length of the garage is about 11 meters, and the back of the garage, this is a proposed garage door. So this is pretty much about this project. It's an extension of the existing garage. So and we look at the neighborhood, and at least 4 houses whose garage are more than 11 meters or more. So we requested the Committee of Adjustment to accept the total length of 11 meters. So the reason is the house owner, the Mr. Lee, have this extension because and his kids grew up, so the family need 2 cars. So he consulted the neighbor next door at 107 and 111 Belwoods. So they have no objection of the extension of the garage.
So do you have letters giving us evidence that the neighbors support the?
No, we don't have letters. They just talk to them. They verbally agreed. Yeah.
Okay.
So and the staff report indicate the request to close the. Enclose the rear of the garage instead of the garage door. So Mr. Lee agreed to close the rear with the wall. Yeah. So in summary, yeah, we request the Committee of Adjustment to consider to accept the proposal, except the rear of the garage, which will be enclosed with a wall. Yeah, thank you.
So in the planning report, they also asked to reduce the length to 9 meters. What your?
Yeah, so that's we and strongly and request the committee to approve the current length, which is 11 meters.
Okay.
So because this is a minimum length to parking 2 cars, one after another. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, thank you. If you can just stay. Any other questions?
You had, if I'm correct, you suggested that there are other properties in the neighborhood that have garages.
Yeah,
at the length that you're requesting. Do you have the addresses for those?
Yeah, I'll give you address. 119 Belwoods Avenue, 81 Belwoods Avenue, 174, 172 Belwoods Avenue. 4 houses. Yeah. Pardon me?
173 Okay. Okay, Mr. Lan?
Okay, sorry. Yeah,
and sorry, in terms, do you have C of A decisions or pictures to show us?
Picture, yeah, we don't have. I ask them don't take picture because they are families.
Do you know?
So just get the number.
Do you have Committee of Adjustment decisions for those properties that authorize those?
Because those garage has been there for a long time, so we assume they already get approval by the city. Yeah.
Okay. Committee members, any other questions?
And actually, yeah, the 174, 172 is the Claremont Street. Yeah, it's not the Belwoods.
Which street?
Claremont, C-L-A-R-E-M-O-N-T, Claremont
So one
Street.
street over?
One street over.
Thank you.
Well, Laneway on another street.
Yeah.
So they're on Claremont.
But that's just only the one property, right?
Yeah, the two properties, yeah,
Okay.
172, 174, yeah, Clement.
So there's one property on Belwoods?
Belwoods, two property, 119 Belwoods, 81
Okay,
Belwoods.
thank you.
Thank you.
Panel members, any other questions?
I'm actually torn on this. Generally,
Okay, so we're in committee then, discussion? Yep.
I side with planning's advice, but in practical terms, creating a second parking spot here would seem to be desirable, and the impact of this seems to be limited.
I would agree. There are other houses that clearly have garages that are the same depth, and in one case might even be more than 11 meters. I don't feel that it significantly changes the character of the neighborhood. As I said, they do exist. Again, echoing Mr. Carlson's comments that I don't like to go against planning reports, but in this case, I'm not sure that the comments are justified.
Okay.
I'd be prepared to move a motion to approve, subject to a condition that there be no vehicle access to.
Okay, so,
To the rear yard,
yeah,
because it's a
The other
laneway
part of the planning.
access.
it's one of the drawings.
We're going to take, the applicant was suggesting they were
Yeah.
prepared to take the door out that went.
There is a door, it's on the plan. The
Yeah,
applicant said that-
on
And it was,
A103 diagram.
And it was one of the concerns from planning.
yeah, it's in the planning report.
Okay, so we have a motion to approve with one condition moved by Mr. Carlson
I'll second.
and seconded by Ms. Oman. All in favor? Okay,
So with
it's been approved, including the conditions.
There be
So motion to
access
approve?
to the rear yard.
from
From
the
the
garage,
garage.
they have a door showing.
Just a door.
From the garage, from the
So the
back.
garage has a
to the
door
rear
on the
yard.
laneway and one into the yard, so
Yeah, facing the backyard, yeah. Yeah. So a motion has been moved to approve the variance application by Ms. Carlson, second by Ms. Oman. All were in favor?
With a
Including a
condition,
condition, yeah, to remove garage
Remove
door
the-
facing the backyard.
remove the garage door.
Okay?
Yeah.
Okay. All in favor? Okay. And moving forward to item number 4, 102 Lesmount Avenue. So the committee has in front of us plan of survey, site plan, floor plans, and elevations. We have a report from community planning, and we have a letter of no objection from 104 Lesmount Avenue.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the committee. My name is David Smith. I'm here representing the homeowners at 102 Lesmount Avenue. For the sake of expediency, I'd be happy to answer questions. If you require a presentation, let me know.
Okay, committee members, would you like a presentation?
Is the garage is slightly bigger than what's there, or?
It's slightly bigger just to accommodate 2 proper vehicles, and it's actually set back further from the lane than the existing condition, but not the full 1 meter required by the bylaw, and that's just to limit impact on the rear yard.
And are you okay with the conditions outlined in the plan?
Yep, no problem.
And I noticed that number 104 supports it. Have they had a chance to talk to the other adjacent neighbors?
Absolutely. There was verbal confirmation. We followed up with a written letter several times, but timelines being what they were, they just didn't get back to us. So for what it's worth, definitely they don't oppose.
Your variance number 4, you're looking for lot coverage of 19.32. What is the present moment?
What's the existing?
Yes.
Oh, it's very similar. So the existing, we've got Actually, that statistic I don't have, only because we've removed the full garage. But considering that the two are almost, we'll say, I'd say that the existing is slightly less, probably in the 17-meter range for the size of garage that's there, if you're talking specifically about the comparison of the existing garage to the proposed.
Sorry, 17%, right?
17%, yeah, 17 meter squares, right? Because I think that he's asking about variance number 4, which refers to the overall size of the garage. 19%, sorry, yeah, my apologies.
The door in the east side of the garage, are you intending to create any sort of parking behind the garage?
No, absolutely not. Really, it's just to allow the rear yard to expand into the garage. As you can see from the site plan, rear yard landscape space, open space is next to, we'll say, bare minimum. And so the dream is that on days when they have friends over and they're entertaining, they can sort of put the vehicles on the street and have a place where they might be able to set up a table for a birthday party or something. It's just to allow for, if you wheel that door up to the rear yard, you can expand into the covering of the garage as needed, but there's no intent to drive through and park anything in the rear yard.
Panel members, any more questions, discussion, a motion?
Would move for approval with the staff conditions, because if it's a plan act and there's no negative effect on the character of the neighborhood.
Okay, a motion to approve, including the planning conditions outlined in the report April 5th. Moved by Mr. Russell, seconded by Mr. Carlson. All in favor? Okay, so the application has been approved.
Thank you so much.
Okay, item number 5, 37 Lakeview Avenue. So the committee has in front of us plan of survey, site plan, floor plans, and elevations. We have a cover letter from Sebastian Bartnitsky. We have also the C of A decision affecting the subject property. We have an arborist report, and then we have correspondence and interest concern from 39 Lakeview Avenue. Okay, please introduce yourself and your address.
Okay, hi everyone. My name is Sebastian Bartnitsky. I am the agent and also designer for the clients. Please let me know if you do need a presentation on the project, but in many ways it's pretty much very similar to the one that you just heard.
Okay.
I just wanted to add that we also have letters of non-objection from 5 of our neighbors.
Sorry, if we can have those letters.
Yeah.
Panel members, do we need a presentation? No. Okay, so any questions?
You're proposing putting plumbing into this structure?
Yeah, there is. It's just a sink.
Why do you want a sink inside there?
The sink is essentially similar to the previous applicant. My clients are intending to use the space as an entertaining space occasionally, so the sink is merely for cleanup. There's definitely no intent to use it for any kind of purpose beyond that.
Any toilet structures inside there?
No, absolutely not.
So yes, there's four letters including of support, including the adjacent neighbor at 35 Lakeview Avenue. I can just pass them on to you. And then, just to confirm, we also have an urban forestry condition on this application.
Are you aware of the urban forestry condition?
Yeah, we have read it and we're in agreement.
Okay, panel members.
Madam Chair, I just have some problems with the sink. I am not too sure what to think of a sink and put in there and why the necessity for a sink. But beyond that, it seems like the application fits the character.
Okay, any other comments about the sink?
I would echo those comments from Mr. Russell.
Okay.
I would agree, having the plumbing connection could leave it open to add living space in there. So I would be comfortable with a condition that doesn't allow a plumbing connection.
Okay.
Other than that, I mean, it is quite a large house, and you know, the parking makes sense and fits in, so I don't have a concern with the garage.
Okay, a motion then?
I move for approval of the application with the condition that there be no sink, no plumbing be inside, and that there should be urban forestry. As such, the application will meet the 4 tests, and according to city zoning bylaw. And so, based on those, is your staff report here?
No. Okay.
Based on those, I'll move for approval.
Okay, Mr. Russell moved to approve this variance application to clean forestry condition number 1 and condition that no plumbing or sewage connection to the garage.
I'll second that.
Okay, second by Ms. Hayes, all in favor? Okay, the application has been approved.
Okay, may I just ask a question, though?
Sure.
With respect to the sink, from my reading of the zoning bylaw, my understanding is that we're permitted either a sink or sewage connection, but not both. And I think the intention of the zoning bylaw is that this not be converted into a residence in the future.
Well, we have already approved the application without a sink. So if you do not agree with our decision, then you can take it to TEY.
To the appeals, yeah. But typically, when we approve garages, we usually include this condition to make sure that there is no residential space being converted into the garage. Yeah.
Do you want to proceed?
But it's already, we made the motion, yeah.
When the appeal it, you can go to TEY.
Yes, our motion is conditional on the fact that there would be no sewage or water connection to the garage.
Okay, understood.
Okay, thank you. Okay, item number 6, 60 Garnock Avenue. The committee has in front of us plan of survey, revised site plan, floor plans, and elevations. We also have correspondence and support from 58 Garnock Avenue. Okay, if you can please introduce yourself, your name and address.
Good morning, my name is David Lang. I'm the agent for the application.
Okay, panel members, would you like a presentation since there is a revised site plan? No? Okay, so we can move forward with questions.
One question for Mr. Lang. You're moving from FSI of 0.69 to 1.21 times. What is there presently?
It's not much. The addition is quite small, so hold on a second.
I believe we have site statistics.
Yeah, I've got...
So it's, the existing GFA is 173 meters squared.
It's at 1.11 right now. The lot is unusually small for the street because normally with the semi-detached house, you have the property line in the middle of the 2 houses, and then on the opposite side, there's usually a little bit of space there between the semi-detached house and the next one. But in this case, the property line is right against the house, so there's some lost space there in the lot area, including right in the back. Because the laneway is so tight, they've cut off the corner of the property, so there's a little more lost lot area there. So on paper, it looks like we're right at the upper end of the... I did some past decision research, and there are a number of properties that are not quite that high, but they're the same on the street. And then I think it's Wolfry, the next street down, there are some properties that had an addition with FSIs more than what we were asking for. At the end of the day, the house is about the same size as other houses on the street that have done third floor additions on the rear. I walked down the laneway to get pictures of them. I couldn't figure out which house was what from when I went around to the front of the street, but I have photos of those houses here if you want to see them.
Okay, panel members, would you like to see the photos?
Yes, please.
Yes, please. And yeah, if you can put them up on the projector.
So that's just walking on the laneway, just taking a picture of the one on the bottom there. It's a similar addition to what we're proposing, and then the one at the top, it's the same thing, but there was a bit of an indentation. But honestly, I couldn't figure out which houses they actually were. All I did was just take a picture from the laneway. And then I did the past decision research. The lots that I found are probably those lots, but I think the one on the top was done in the 80s, so I couldn't get the research for that one.
Sorry, so for the past decisions, can you give us some addresses? And are you speaking to the FSI, right?
Yep. The lots I found were 116 Wolfry, 34 Garnock, 30 Garnock, and 114 Wolfry. And they were 1.39, 1.07, 1.03, and 1.29. So the existing house now is 1.11, which is sort of in the middle there. And then once we do the addition, it would go to 1.21.
And just to clarify, because on your drawing number 2, it shows that the proposed third floor addition doesn't extend all the way to the end of the building. It's
so the part at the back there is a single-story addition on the bottom.
okay.
I'm not sure when that was built. The third floor addition is the area that I've hatched in the middle there.
Okay, so it's not going to look like the one at the bottom, because this one extends all the way.
No, the one at the bottom is like the original house that we have, except 60 Garnock has an addition off the bottom there. So that bottom window, there's like a little breakfast area that sticks out. You can't actually see it from the laneway because there's a fenceway that goes around and the garage blocks the view of it. Hold on a second. So that's what you see from the laneway. The vines you can sort of see are the top of the first floor addition that's from, I think from like 1980. And then that deck at the top is what they're enclosing. So if you go back to this other photo, that's what they're planning to do. So that person's about 6 or 7 houses down from 60 Garnock.
Okay, panel members, questions, discussion, a motion?
Through you, Madam Chair, I feel that what's being proposed is not out of character with the neighborhood. There are a lot of houses there that have additions going up 1, 2, 3 stories, as well as decks on top of, in some cases, the second story or the third even. So I feel that we've been presented with sufficient evidence by the applicant that this meets the 4 tests, and if my colleagues don't have any comments, I would move approval of the application.
Okay, motion to approve has been moved by Ms. Oman.
I'll second.
Second by Ms. Hayes. All in favor? This application has been approved.
Thank you.
Item number 7, 40 Robert Street. Okay, 40 Robert Street. We have a plan of, the committee has in front of us plan of survey, site plan, floor plans, and elevations. We also have email correspondence from Heritage saying that they have no comments. If you can please introduce yourself and your address.
My name is TEY Joshua. I'm the agent for 40 Robert Street.
Okay, panel members, would you like a presentation or questions? I move straight into questions.
I think so.
Okay, so if we can just proceed with questions then.
Did you have any discussions with your neighbors at 38?
Yeah, all the neighbors are in approval. Nobody submitted a letter of objection.
How will it look with your depth? You're going deeper than maximum permitted. What's there presently?
I'm sorry, can you repeat the last part of that question?
What is there presently? Your depth is going to be 3.3 meters more than the maximum depth permitted.
Yes.
And what is there at the present moment? Are you backing up? Are you going up back some more?
Yeah, so we're proposing to go back a little bit more. At the moment, there's an existing wood deck up to that point and an existing foundation wall below. So really all we're proposing is to build on top of the existing foundation walls. Also, number 42 has gone out quite a bit, the connecting townhouse, row house, sorry. And we're going out just maybe a meter, maybe about 2 meters past their point. And they've constructed a 2-story rear addition as well in the past.
So you could not fit what you have within, they've gone out 2 meters somewhat beyond what's normally there.
Yes.
But you're looking to go with 3.3 meters. Can you not be satisfied with 2 meters?
So unfortunately, to get what the homeowner wants out of the house, this is what he wants. That it's a 2-story house right now, and it's a total of 1,300 square feet. At the end of the day, all we're proposing to add is 400 square feet. So I know on paper, in terms of zoning jargon, it might not look great, but in reality, I think adding 400 square feet to a house that's worth about, upwards of $2 million is not an outrageous request. I understand that we're asking to go past the allowed building depth and length, but like I said, we're only trying to add 400 square feet to this house, 200 per floor. I think it's a fairly small request.
Sorry, and you mentioned that you have support from adjacent neighbors or from the neighborhood?
Nothing written, but the homeowner has spoken to them verbally, and they are aware of the plans, and none of them have filed a letter of objection.
Okay. Panel members, any other questions?
So your existing GFA is already over what's permitted, correct? By the drawings you provided?
No, that's not correct. The existing FSI is 0.88, and we're allowed to go 1.0.
Your FSI, from your drawings, it says your GFA, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
My mistake. So, I'm sorry, again, you just have verbal from 38?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Should you not have a length variance there? Are you missing a length variance?
No, the length variance is there.
Okay.
We only have a depth variance, but this went through a zoning review.
Okay.
Okay, any other comments? Motion? Discussion?
Through you, Madam Chair, from what I can see, there are a lot of additions in that area, in that block. Many are longer, including one to the right of this townhouse. I don't feel that what's being proposed is unreasonable. Certainly, the FSI request is, in my opinion, extremely minor, and I believe that some of the side wall variances, they're existing. So we're only looking at the depth variance, which it'll be a meter difference roughly between the adjacent homes. So I feel what's being requested is reasonable, meets the 4 tests, and I would move approval of the application.
Okay, a motion to approve has been moved by Ms. Omens. Do we have a seconder?
I'll second.
A second by Ms. Hayes. All in favor? Okay, so the application has been approved.
Thank you.
Okay, number 8 has been held. So proceeding to number 9, 390 Belsize Drive. So the committee has in front of us plan of survey, site plan, floor plans, and elevations. We have four photographs of 35 Cheston Road, 410 Belsize, and then 2 houses on Manor Road. And then we have 3 letters in support signed by owners on Belsize. Okay, if you can please introduce yourself and your address.
I'm Louis Solis, owner of 390 Belsize.
Okay, panel members, would you like a presentation or go directly into questions?
No.
Okay, so discussion. Okay, Ms. Carlson, sorry, if you can just speak up and then if you have.
Extremely minor and would move approval of the application barring any further questions.
Okay.
Second.
So a motion to approve has been moved, Mr. Carlson, second by Ms. Omen. All in favor? The application has been approved. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, moving forward to item number 10, 1 Hazel Avenue. So the committee has in front of us plan of survey, site plan, floor plans, and elevations. We have a covering letter and then 13 supporting photos from Kathy Teffler. And we have 8 form letters in support from owners on Hazel Avenue, Balsam Avenue, Fernwood, and as well as 2 form letters in support from once again, Hazel Avenue, from Hazel Avenue. Okay, if you can please introduce yourself and your address.
Hi, I'm Kathy Taffler, and I'm the agent and architect for this project. Would you like a presentation?
Panel members, presentation? No? Okay, so we can go directly into questions.
I don't have any questions.
Ms. Teffer, you're moving your variance number one, you're seeking to have front yard setback of 3.57 meters from the north front line, when you're required to have 6 meters.
The issue is, which I elaborated in more detail, I don't know how much detail you want me to go into, that the property is an unusual property. It's a corner, but it only has 3 lot lines. So really what would traditionally be called, if you looked at the house, you'd say that's the front. According to this variance, they call that the side. So it sounds like when you look on the zoning variance notice that there are larger setbacks being requested, when in reality the side yards and front yards are the house, when you look at it now, is already sitting in the setbacks, the existing house. And so the 2 small additions are not going beyond the building envelope, the existing building envelope and the existing envelope of the overhang of the porch. They're basically set back beneath the existing overhang of the porch, so there'll be no additional massing of the house.
Okay. Yeah, so if you look at drawing 821, it just highlights the building envelope. Okay, do we have any other questions? No questions, discussion, a motion?
No, it's a cute little house, actually. And the way the street curves, and that I see absolutely no impact to the neighborhood at all with what's being proposed.
Either do I. I think it's certainly a minor requirement, so if there's no further comments from my colleagues, I'd be prepared to move a motion through you, Madam Chair. Move a motion to approve the application, as I believe through the submissions of the applicant's agent and the material before the panel, that I believe that it is indeed minor and meets the 4 tests under the Act.
Okay, a motion to approve has been moved by Ms. Hayes.
I'll second.
Second by Ms. Oman. All in favor? Okay, application has been approved.
Thank you.
Okay, so Madam Secretary Treasurer mentioned that item 11 is no longer contested, so we'll just proceed with item 11 as per the order on the agenda. So 636 Manning Avenue, you can have the agent or applicant. So the committee has in front of us a plan of survey, site plan, floor plans, and elevations, and then we have a report from community planning. So if you can please introduce yourself and your address.
I'm Andy Trotter, agent designer, and for 636 Manning Avenue.
Okay, panel members, would you like a presentation? Or we can go into questions.
Just to let you know, the TRCA has just in the last 3 minutes sent an email that that initially this was not in the floodplain, but the floodplains have been updated very recently, and so I think that'll be a condition that will be attached to this as a TRCA. And other than that, I think this is a pretty typical kind of application.
Okay.
Do you have any questions?
The planning condition for the opaque screening?
I'm sorry. This is 636 Manning. I have another one coming up, 35 Woodfield. Sorry.
Anything from TRC.
I didn't think Manning's in a
But thank you.
Sorry. I got the second one after this. I got mixed up. Yes, we're good. We're good. Sorry about that.
Manning's in the
I always get nervous up here. The planning. Yes, actually, I'm good with the screen. Yes, we're good with that. Absolutely. And the neighbors that came were good with it too. They just wanted to understand what's happening. So.
As long as we're not having a flood in.
Okay, so we don't have a TRC.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
Okay, I'm just like, wow.
okay. Sorry, so you mentioned that the letters, the neighbors were in support of this application?
Yes, yes.
Do you have any letters?
I didn't, no, I don't, the people that were just here left because they verbally just said to me that they're fine. And then the neighbor to the south has exactly the same thing. So they didn't have any objections. It wasn't a problem, so, so.
Okay, panel members, questions?
Yeah, have you reviewed the staff report, Mr. Trotter?
Yes, about the privacy screen?
Yes.
Yes.
And you're okay with it?
Absolutely.
Okay, any other questions? No. No, discussion?
I move for approval.
Okay, Mr. Russell moved.
Planning Act and it's in good zoning bylaws.
Okay, including the planning conditions?
Planning conditions.
Okay. Do we have, so Mr. Russell has moved to approve this variance application, including the planning conditions outlined in the report April 5th. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Ms. Hayes seconded. All in favor? Okay.
Thank you.
The application has been approved. Thank you. Number 12, Number 12, 222 O'Connor Drive. So the committee has in front of us plan of survey, site plan, floor plans, and elevations. And we have a report from community planning. So if you can please introduce yourself and your address.
Hi, I'm Diana Z. I'm here for the matter of 222 O'Connor, but I think the applicants were Carmel Hodgins and Ian Hodgins. I purchased the property from them. We've become homeowners of this property as of yesterday. So,
Madam Secretary Trajuni, an update on this?
Applicants who are purchasing a home and coming with an application would apply under an agreement of purchase and sale, which we don't have on file, and unless she has her deed, I can't change the information.
Okay, so would this impact our decision? No? Okay, so we'll just proceed as is.
No problem.
Perhaps you can file decision request card.
Provide us a decision card filled out so we can have your proper spelling of your name and your address.
A decision, I don't
card.
have there.
You can do that at the end after we finish the. If you can perhaps spell your last name?
Yeah, it's Z-E-E-H.
Sorry, and your first name as well.
Diana, so D-I-A-N-A.
Okay. Panel members, would you like a presentation? No. Questions?
Yeah, Ms. Zeich, the planned staff has recommended 40% lot coverage be at 40%. The variance requested is 51%. What do you have to say?
It's exclusive of the garage.
Exclusive garage.
Yeah, it's just a condition.
You okay with that?
Are you okay meeting the planning condition outlined in the report?
Yeah, so it's 51% including the garage. Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
And then 40% excluding the garage?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it looks from the plans anyway that the replacement garage looks to be a little smaller.
It's smaller, that's correct,
Is that
yeah.
Okay. Panel members, any other questions, discussion, motion?
I move approval of the application. It's fully in keeping with the area, meets the intent and spirit of all applicable code, and it would include the condition that the coverage be limited to the 40% exclusive garage.
Okay. A motion to approve has been moved by Mr. Carlson with the planning condition.
I'll second.
Second by Ms. Hayes. All in favor? Okay, so the application has been approved.
Okay.
Thank you. And then once you're done once you're done writing the decision request card, you can just give it back to the staff members.
Okay.
Okay. Item number 13, 35 Woodfield Road. So the committee.
We have an objection here about parking, which isn't any of the variances, so.
Okay, so is this a contested matter?
I'm contesting, I just don't know if I have a leg to stand up. He's telling me I don't.
Okay, so how about we hold this item down? You can go outside, have a discussion. Well, we have to, first we're going to go through the uncontested items and then we'll deal with the contested items last. Okay, so number 14 then, 153 Atlas.
There was no applicant in the room.
Sorry, is the agent here for 153 Atlas? Okay. So 153 Atlas Avenue, the committee has in front of us plan of survey, site plan, floor plans, and elevations. And we also have correspondence in opposition from 115 Winnett Avenue.
From which address, sorry?
115 Winnett Avenue.
Okay.
Panel members, so if you can please introduce yourself and your address.
My name is Ferdinand Wagner. I'm an agent for the owners. Do you want, can I just say something before I make presentation?
Sure.
If you check the variances, one of them is a bit misleading because the new bylaw and the old York bylaw are substantially different when it comes to calculation of gross floor area. And in New York, they include an unenclosed porch. So if you take actually really enclosed gross floor area, it actually isn't even a variance under the new bylaw. It's actually under 0.8. I'm just pointing that out. So that's the reason why that's important. Then the other points really are, it's an existing two-story semi-detached house, and there's an existing little addition at the back now on the ground floor, which is 5 feet deep. This proposal would increase that by 5 feet on the ground floor to 10 feet on the second floor. Other comments are, there hasn't been a garage there for a long time. Apparently, the people who I'm representing purchased a property without a garage there at all, which is on the survey, and they actually park on the right-of-way. And the other variances are really all about meeting the same setbacks as existing house does from the side lot lines. So when you do a semi-detached house at the back, when you add this addition, on the variances they say you're not far enough away from the lot line, but it's just a continuation of the party wall.
Okay.
That's it, basically.
Okay, thank you for this explanation.
Mr. Wagner, with the explanation you have, what needs to be changed here?
You don't have to change it. It's just that it's the wording is a bit weird because in the old York bylaw, what they do is when they calculate gross floor area, the variance you're asking for here, which is over 1.1 or something, is actually based on including an unenclosed porch. The reality is that the actual gross floor area enclosed is actually under the 0.8. So it's just the way the old York bylaw is written.
Thank you.
So where do you park currently? Where is the parking currently?
Well, they purchased the place in that garage. The back was gone when they purchased it, so they park on the right-of-way. There's actually a mutual right-of-way, and they park there.
Panel members, any other questions? Discussion?
Through you, Madam Chair, I visited the site. All the houses have cars parking actually in the front.
Yeah, that's right.
On both sides of the street, so that's very common. I feel that what's being proposed fits within the context of the neighborhood and that it meets the 4 tests. Most of these variances are, in my opinion, minor. So if there are no other comments, I would move approval.
Okay. So you can go ahead. Okay. So Ms. Holman put for a motion to approve. Do we have a seconder?
I'll second.
Ms. Hayes, second the motion. All in favor? The application has been approved.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, item number 15, 457 Jones Avenue. So the committee has in front of us plan of survey, site plan, floor plans, and elevations. We have correspondence support from 492 Jones Avenue, and then we have 11 form letters in support from various individuals on Jones Avenue, Earl Grey Road, and Shutter Avenue. Okay, if you can please introduce yourself and your address.
My name is Anthony Greenberg. I'm the agent for the owners of 457 Jones Avenue.
Okay, panel members, do we need a presentation or would you like to go directly into questions?
Go directly into questions.
Okay, Mr. Russell then?
Yeah, so what's there presently is what you just want to legalize it?
Yes, with the one exception there's a slight increase in basement floor area, which is not visible from the street whatsoever.
Everything is internal? Is that?
Everything is internal, yeah.
And it wouldn't, and it doesn't, I would note that it doesn't require a variance under the new bylaw.
No, it doesn't. It's simply the way GFA is calculated in the former bylaw that triplex and a semi-detached home, the basement GFA is included.
Okay.
Why is it that you require now, at this point, variance under the old bylaw when the new bylaw is here?
Well, because the new bylaw is under appeal, both bylaws are still in force, and the home was purchased as a triplex, but the previous owners had never formally got that legalized under the zoning. So this project now triggers the need to formally seek permissions.
And as the agent highlighted, they're calculated differently. So.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any other questions? No. Discussion, a motion.
If no one has any comments, through you, Madam Chair, I'd move a motion to approve the application, as I believe it is indeed minor in nature and meets the tests under the Planning Act.
Okay, so a motion to approve has been moved by Ms. Hayes, seconded by Mr. Russell. All in favor? Okay, so the application has been approved.
Thank you very much.
Item number 16, 41 Alcorn Avenue. So the committee has in front of us plan of survey, site plan, floor plans, and elevations. And we also have a decision affecting the subject property. So if I can please have your name and address.
My name is Trevor Wallace, and I'm the architect for 41 Alcorn and applicant.
Okay, committee members, would you like a presentation? So we'll just go directly into questions. Okay.
I don't have any questions.
I don't have any questions.
Okay, if there's no questions, motion, discussion.
Through you, Madam Chair, this is a very straightforward application. It is indeed minor. I would move approval of the application as it meets the 4 tests.
Okay, so a motion to approve has been moved by Ms. Oman, seconded by?
I'll second.
Ms. Hayes. All in favor? Okay, so the application has been approved. Thank you.
Chair Committee.
Okay, number 17, 62 Chester Hill Road. Okay, perfect. Thank you so much for letting me know. So we'll hold this item down. Okay, we move forward to number 18, 417 Kingswood Road. So the committee has in front of us plan of survey, site plan, floor plans, and elevations. We have the cover letter from the architect. We have community planning report, and then we have 5 form letters in support from owners on mostly Kingswood Road. Okay, if you can please introduce yourself and your address.
Thank you. Good morning. My name is David Novak. I'm the owner of the property.
Okay, panel members, would you like a presentation, or do we go directly into questions?
Questions. Can I just ask you what you're proposing, the porch, is it going to, how is it going to line up with 413 for the adjacent properties? Is it going to stick out more? Is it going to be approximately the same?
So what we're trying to do is enclose a front porch and open up the front wall. And so we're moving the existing front door to the middle of the house. And he needs a bit of a landing area because you have to step up to the door. So the porch is going to be very minor. It's about 4 feet out, not even. So it's really not going to be sticking out from the other properties. It's going to be pretty much, it won't be flush. It'll stick out a little bit, but it's where our existing garden is.
And plus the steps, I guess.
Yeah, well, the steps are going to be, they're not going to stick out in front. We'll make them come on the side. Okay. So the edge of the landing porch is going to be the last part.
Okay. But in terms of the actual enclosure, it's on the existing footprint of the porch.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Your reduction in landscape size, you're at 75% and you want to move to 53%? How do you justify that in the neighborhood?
Well, right now with the landscaping, so if you look at the overall plans, the closure of the front porch removes some of the soft landscaping, I would assume. And then the addition at the rear, which is only a second-story bump-out addition, cantilever system. I'm not sure how that figures into the removal of landscape. We're really not doing that much to the landscape. The green space is still going to be there, except for even with the added little porch in the front, the landing porch, like it's very minor. we're not drastically changing the property at all.
And as far as the parking, I read somewhere, I can't find it now, but you have a parking permit?
That's correct.
So the zero.
Nothing changes, yeah. There's no place to park on the side of the house. It's the upper beaches. The land is very, very, very small. So we already have parking permits on the street.
Okay. Do we have any other questions?
And are you aware of the planning report, the condition?
Yes, I saw that, and it was a little confusing, but we have no intention on building on top of the little landing. That is just, yeah, it's not going to happen.
Okay.
No more questions, discussion? Motion?
Again, what's being proposed is, fits within the context of the neighborhood. I would be comfortable moving approval, including the planning condition dated in the April 5th report.
Okay, so there has been a motion to approve this variance application, including a planning condition, moved by Ms. Oman. Do we have a seconder? Second by Ms. Carlson. All in favor? The application has been approved.
Thank you very much. Have a nice day.
Thank you. You too. Item number 19, 8 Frank Crescent. So the committee has in front of us plan of survey, site plan, floor plans, and elevations. We also have a 39 signature petition in support, signed by owners from Frank Crescent, Brakendale, Hill Road, Turner Road, Hill Crescent Drive, and Tyrell Avenue. Okay, if you can please introduce yourself and your address, please.
Good morning, all. My name is Kayvon, last name Parvane, and I'm the owner with my wife, 8 Frank Crescent.
Okay. Panel members, would you like a presentation or or go directly into questions?
Questions.
Okay, if we can, yeah, so we can proceed with the questions then.
Your front yard setback, you're moving, you want your front yard setback to be 5.76 meters. What is there presently?
I think it's close to, I think it's close to 7 meter.
7 meter, not 7.56, no?
Yes, that's correct, 7.56 meter.
That's what's there.
Right. So those bay windows will be removed. It's going to be flattened, and the enclosure is going to be on the existing porch that we have already. Same as the previous gentleman, just putting the walls around the porch, the current porch.
Panel members?
If there's no other comments from my panel, I'd be, through you, Madam Chair, move a motion to approve the application, as I believe what's being requested is indeed minor and meets the requirements under the Planning Act.
Okay, a motion to approve has been moved by Ms. Hayes. Do we have a seconder?
Seconded.
A second by Mr. Russell. All in favor? Okay, the application has been approved.
Thank you very much. Have a good day.
Thank you. So item number 20, 41 Walker Avenue. So the committee has in front of us plan of survey, site plan, floor plans, and elevations. We have the cover letter from the applicants. We have 5 photographs of subject property. We have a staff report from development engineering. And then we have 1 letter in interest from or concern from 53 Alcorn Avenue. If you can please introduce yourself and your address.
Yes, it's Monica Kuhn, 12 Sackville Place. I'm the agent for the owners who are here also.
Okay, panel members, would you like a presentation or go directly into questions?
Questions.
Okay, we'll go into questions.
Monica, variance number 2, you're looking for floor space index of 1.38.
Yep.
You're moving from 1, what's there present?
Right now, it's 1.25 and 1.28, and that was approved under a previous Committee of Adjustment hearing. And that the addition will be in the middle of the roof on the 3rd floor, so it cannot be seen from either the front or the back.
Mm-hmm.
the size of the garage.
Yes.
And the 14.5% versus the 10. Are there others in the area that have similar?
Yes, I can bring you photographs.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I brought those actually in response to the letter of interest, but they'll do for this as well. The reason the size is coming up is because the lot is pretty small in comparison, so the percentages that are coming up are creating garages that are really not very useful, and especially because we want to fill the width of the lot. So to be able to get the length of a legal parking space, we've gone to the minimum with regards to the length. So we're pretty close on the one bylaw, but on the new bylaw, it's because it's 10%, it makes it pretty small.
In terms of property number 39, they also have a rear garage, and it seems a little bit larger. Is that correct?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. I have a question in terms of the soft landscaping.
Sure.
In the rear. Is there any possibility to address the 0%, the existing condition, or the proposed?
Well, right now, there's a small planting bed with a small shrub there. Because we're putting the carport in, we have to, because the carport has to be set back from the laneway, we have to push the carport into the, or over that planting bed. We are proposing a green roof on the carport, so we'll be, over half the yard will have green space. It's just that it'll be on the roof as opposed to on the ground.
Okay.
The yard is quite small, so it's really, right now it's a stone terrace, and that's where the kids play and the table is and all that sort of stuff.
Okay. Any other questions, committee members?
The neighbors, that letter that you have went out to all of the surrounding neighbors, and my clients have talked to the adjacent neighbors as well, especially the attached one, and there is no issue.
Okay.
One of the correspondence we just received today, they spoke about snow in the back in the winter.
So really, snow shoveling is only an issue when there's no roof on the parking space, right? Because you have to get it out. Right now, with the proposed garage, there would be no shoveling of snow, so there would be no increase in snow into the laneway. Also, because the garage or carport is pushed back, set back from the laneway, right now the cars park right at the edge of the laneway. They're going to be pushed back, so there's even more room than there is. There will be even more room than there is right now, so it's really an unfounded concern.
Any other questions, discussion, a motion?
Through you, Madam Chair, there are a lot of additions in that block that vary in sizes. Some are longer, some are shorter. So I think what's being proposed is not out of character. It meets the 4 tests, and if nobody has any other comments, I would be prepared to move a motion. I also like the green roof on the carport.
Can I ask one question of staff, just for clarification? So in terms of variance number 3, the variance is a request to go to 0%, but there is the commentary that there will be soft landscaping provided on the carport in the description of variance number 3. Yeah, so does that... Yeah. So if we wanted to, is there an obligation then to, we would have to put a condition if we wanted that to be a certainty that there'd be a green roof?
We can put a condition.
Yeah, I guess that's my question.
Yeah, that's what it would have to be.
Okay. So would you like to put in a condition? Oh, sorry. So
I'm okay to, can I put that in? It's in the plan, so.
Yeah, that's what's.
Okay, so through you, Madam Chair, and I just want to comment that a lot of the backyards, not that I think it's great, but they don't have any soft landscaping. So through you, Madam Chair, I would move approval of the application, including a condition that a green roof will be provided on the carport and as part of the plans submitted. Is that sufficient?
Okay.
I would second that.
Okay, so a motion to approve has been moved by Ms. Oman.
Second.
I don't, sorry?
It's not going to be an elevation. Which plan do you want to reference the condition?
Yeah, it says on the top there.
That's it. Noted.
Green Room A12.
A12.
Yeah.
Okay. So a motion to approve has been moved by Ms. Oman, including a condition to construct a green roof on the carport and tied to drawing A12. Second by Ms. Hayes. All in favor? The application has been approved.
Thank you very much.
Okay, number 21, 79 Coleridge Avenue. So the committee has in front of us plan of survey, site plan, floor plans, and elevations. We have email correspondence from community planning. We also have staff reports from development engineering, community planning. Okay, if you can please introduce yourself and your address.
Thank you. Just handing out photos and some other illustrations.
Yeah, can we, yeah, maybe if you're going to go through them, maybe if we can put them on the projector.
Yeah, do you want to put them on?
Sure.
Yeah,
you can.
Mr.
I just have to find that easier because then you can hear me better, but okay.
Panel members, sorry, if you can just introduce yourself.
Yeah, my name is Armando Barbini. I'm the agent for the owners of the property. This is an application to demolish an existing garage in the rear yard of a property which is in fairly poor condition. As you can see from the photograph, the roof is sort of almost collapsing and it's basically not being used. There is an existing encroachment agreement for the existing garage with the city's transportation department. The applicant is proposing to demolish the garage and reconstruct it in essentially the same size and shape, just slightly moving it a bit. If you look at number 1 and 2, it shows as an illustration of a site plan. In red is the outline of the existing garage. Similarly, the elevation, as you can see, the garage is just being pulled away from the rear property line approximately a foot. The height is essentially the same, it's just a different shape. There was a report that was provided by planning department. There seemed to be a bit of a calculation error. I think there was a modified email sent, and I'm in agreement with that, 36%.
Yeah.
And then Transportation Department, their concern was that this was a downsloping driveway, but as you can see from the photographs, the actual driveway slopes up, and your image number 4 demonstrates that as well. The actual driveway slopes downwards from the garage to the sidewalk, so it's not it's an upslope driveway per se. But we have no problems in providing that information directly to transportation as a condition of approval if that's what the committee wishes.
Okay. Panel members, do we have any questions? Discussion? Any questions? No. Motion then?
Through you, Madam Chair, I'd like to move a motion to approve the application. I believe what's proposed is basically replacement for what currently is existing, and subject to the condition outlined in the planning staff report as amended by their email dated April the 10th, and the, just out of an abundance of caution, the condition in the development engineering memo of March 29th.
Okay. So
I'll second that.
Okay, Mr. Carlson. So a motion to approve has been moved by Ms. Hayes, including the two outlined, the number of conditions outlined by Ms. Hayes, and second by Ms. Carlson. All in favor? Okay, the application has been approved.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll move forward to item number 22, 286 Jones Avenue. The committee has in front of us plan of survey, site plan, floor plans, and elevations, and then we have urban forestry condition number 1.
Hi, my name is Angshun Sun, and I'm the agent and applicant for 286 Jones Avenue.
Okay, panel members, do we need a presentation, or would you like to go directly into questions? Into questions, okay.
Mr. Sun, variance number 1.
Yes.
You want to move to 0.77 times the area of the lot? What's there presently?
The existing building, may I present the materials to the committee?
Sure.
Sure. Unless you want to put them on the overhead projector, that might be easier.
The existing building is a 2 stories attached house, and they basically at the front portion from the outline, the green outline is the entire premises of the building. At this portion, from here to here, is 2 stories, and the portion sort of adjacent to the rear side is only 1 story, and our proposal is adding a 2nd stories on the existing ground floor at the rear house. And basically, and we're trying to keep the FSI as a minimum as possible to sort of respect the adjacent neighbors' scales.
Members, any questions?
Your landscape, you're looking for 50% decrease in landscape requirement?
That's number 3?
Variance number 1 under the old bylaw 438 of 86.
50 proposed landscape open space.
Yes,
if you...
Why you need only 50% of the...
If you could look at the set plan A0-058, and at the rear yard, the dash line was the existing garage, and we're actually trying to propose a new garage with a similar footprint. And the proposed ground floor deck currently is a pavement at the rear of the building, and then based on the current condition, we actually that's the reason the rear yard of the landscape it's 28%.
So it's existing.
It's existing condition.
I have a question in relation to number 284. So on your various drawings, sometimes your the first story part of the addition extends in line with the 284, but in others it protrudes out. So what is the situation there?
Oh, I see. Basically, we didn't on the If you could look at elevation drawing A121, because the second floor is addition, and then we're at the same time we're trying to provide a livable balconies on the second floor. The only protruding portion is the balcony on the second floor, beyond the existing warehouse, the rear side of the building.
Okay.
Is that a skylight in the middle of the deck?
Yes, there will be a skylight.
So you're putting a second story addition?
Yes, on the existing ground floor.
Madam Secretary Treasurer, in terms of the purpose of the application, it reads by constructing a rear 2-story addition. Should that be changed to? A second-story addition?
I don't think it matters much.
No.
Okay. Do we have any other questions? Discussion? A motion?
I'm prepared to, since there's no discussion, I'm prepared to move a motion for approval of this application. There's no major change in the neighborhood. The character of the neighborhood remains the same. The decorating is minor, and it meets the four tests of planning act. So I move for a motion for
I'll second with forestry.
with urban forestry condition 1.
Okay. A motion to approve, including forestry condition number 1, has been moved by Mr. Russell, second by Ms. Omen. All in favor? The application has been approved. Thank you.
Very much.
Okay, number 23, 3 Gore Street. The committee has in front of us plan of survey, site plan, floor plans, and elevations. So if you can please introduce yourself and your address.
Yeah. Good morning, committee. My name is Sava Milkovic. I'm the agent and designer.
Okay, panel members, would you like to go directly into questions?
Yes.
Okay, any questions? No questions? I just have one quick question. This is going to be reconstructed on the existing footprint of the stairs, right?
Yeah, the existing concrete cast staircase is in poor condition, so we're just replacing that existing stairs.
Okay, thank you. Motion then, or this?
I would approve of the application as it is extremely minor in nature and is fully in keeping with the intent of the bylaw.
Okay, motion to approve has been moved by Mr. Carlson. Second by Mr. Russell. All in favor? Okay, the application has been approved. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you, too. Okay, number 24, 759 Euclid Avenue. The committee has in front of us plan of survey, site plan, floor plans, and elevations. We have a decision affecting the subject property, actually 2 decisions affecting the subject property. And then we have written correspondence in opposition from 761 Euclid Avenue. So if you can please introduce yourself and your address.
Yes. Good morning, committee members. My name is Jim Sod. I'm an authorized agent on behalf of the owner of 759 Euclid Avenue.
Okay. Panel members, would you like a presentation or go into questions?
I can offer some brief comments rather than a whole presentation. It's a very simple application. As you know, we've been forward to committee with the entire 3-story addition, well, 2 stories on top of an existing 1-story addition, plus a bit of an extension. It was all approved. I guess what wasn't caught at the time that has caused us to have to come back at this point is merely the pushing out of the 2nd-story balcony to the edge of an overhang that was the compromise of not moving the rear wall out any further. It was agreed that there would be an overhanging balcony to make the 2nd-story balcony more usable, and we weren't aware at the time that planning or zoning was going to consider the guardrail, a glass guardrail, to be part of the rear main wall. So in order to maximize and not have an awkward condition on that balcony, the extension right now, the motion right now is just to, not the motion, sorry, the application rather, is just to move that guardrail out by a total of 18.5 inches. I would like to also bring to your attention that one of the suggestions of the previous committee hearing was that the sides of these guardrails were extended to become privacy screens of 1.5 meters high and be made of, we agreed on acid etched glass. The neighbor, particularly on the north, does not want acid etched glass. They are actually in favor of keeping these back down at the regular guard height and also making them of all clear glass, which is what the proposal shows now. So if that could be also noted, it would be appreciated.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
With respect to the overhang on the first floor,
Yes.
built, that appears different from the plans that were approved in the previous variance application. So can you speak to about that a bit? Because in the previous application, it looks like the rear wall of the first floor, the balcony does go right out to the edge. But the as-built, it looks like there's an overhang on the first floor, and now you're asking to bring the balcony out to the edge of the overhang of the first floor. Am I
Just check with the
correct or
owner.
incorrect?
George, did we move the rear wall in and leave the balcony the same size from the previous committee application? Or did we extend the overhang out further than what was approved for the rear wall? Right. That's right. So because there was no variance required, I should have pointed that out. As part of this application, we are extending that awning out, and our zoning examiner had no issue with that. It's really the guardrail that was held back previously that we now need the variance for in order to bring forward. Yes, I do have letters of support from both neighbors.
So if you can just please send them in.
Yep.
We don't have them on file.
The neighbor who objected is now in support?
Well, okay. I apologize. One on the south, 757, there's a letter of...
761. Okay.
Is that 757?
No, this is 761. So that's the one that opposed. Oh, this is an agreement, right?
761, that was the letter of approval on reducing the height of the guardrail, the screening on the balcony. But we didn't even know that he was opposing because he provided my client with this email stating that he'll let the committee decide whether or not this application should be approved or not. He did not state in the email that he was going to oppose, so that comes to
It's in.
I'm sorry.
This is really an agreement between them, so I'm not sure.
Well, it's been presented, so it should go in the record.
Sorry, I'm a little bit confused because in these, so are you proposing to go all the way back?
That's it.
In this?
Yep, with a glass, that's the proposed one.
Is this reflected in the drawings that we have here?
Yeah, this bubbled area, that is currently what we're asking for. So previously, that's what was agreed at the last committee. Because we didn't realize that pushing this forward was going to garner further variance. So once we presented that to planning, well, we submitted a building permit revision, and they told us that we...
So if maybe if you can...
to speak into the mic because it's being
I can give you the
recorded.
plan so you can speak to them. Because it seems that from one side, this is south elevate, oh, existing, okay, proposed. Okay, yeah, so maybe if you can speak to... Yeah.
You can see under our previous application for minor variance, we had shown a guardrail that was pushed back. Actually, you were saying that the overhang wasn't there. So this is actually just indicating it's kind of a mix of what we were approved for as well as extending the overhang. But in order to have this guardrail extended out as far the additional 18 inches to match the overhang that's being proposed, we submitted for permit unaware that that was considered extending the rear wall further back the building depth than what was shown here. So now what we're asking for is this revised condition whereby the guardrail steps back. It still sits on top of the small parapet that forms the deck for that balcony, but it is an 18-inch extension.
Okay, and then as Ms. Hayes mentioned, so these are the drawings from the last C of A decision, so if you can put them on the projector.
one above it is not being extended, is that?
No, it stays exactly as is.
Because it seems from that drawing that the balcony was flush with all of the other balconies and the first floor wall.
So here again, back where we were it was suggested that they be screens at the 1.5 meter height. You can see that everything lined up with the back wall, the screens and the extension, the whole 2-story extension plus balcony for the 3rd-story extension were all aligned. So what's happened now is we wanted to create an overhang to help with inclement weather coming in. That is the principal entry for the owners when they arrive home.
Okay, so just a question of clarification.
Yes, ma'am.
So at time of construction, that extension over the first floor
yes,
was part of the application for a building permit?
As a revision to the building permit, yes. We did get approval to extend the overhang because that was not a required minor variance. It was a revision submitted to the permit. It was approved.
So now,
yes,
because that you chose to make that change,
yes,
you would like to make a change, not that there was a mistake, you would like to make a change
yes,
to pull that second floor balcony up to the front of the overhang. It's
yes,
not that
ma'am.
there was an error.
No, the reason I cited as an error on our part is we made the assumption that that wasn't going to require anything more than a building permit revision. When we submitted it for revision with the extension of the guardrail as well, we were told that that's going to require a minor variance, and here we are back at committee just for that 18 inches.
Okay. Thank you for the clarification.
Sorry for the confusion.
So if I can have those back. Panel members, do we have any other questions?
So with that extension, what about the privacy of the other neighborhoods?
So the neighbors to the south at 757 have no issue with privacy whatsoever as they've signed off on the affidavit for this application. The ones to the north have always opposed the entire project from the get-go. But it is actually the one to the north who insisted that we don't have a privacy screen 1.5 meters high and that we make the glass, if we're going to put a guard in, they be all glass because his main concern is visual obstruction. And I think it adds to the openness of the entire backyard setting for all of the neighbors. So we, of course, it's what my client wanted anyway, so that's the only thing they're actually seeing eye to eye on.
Madam Secretary Treasurer, so in one of the support letters, there is the condition that the neighbor would like us to include as part of our decision, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I wrote it down.
Okay, so
It's okay, I wrote it down. It's for the guardrails, the clear glass and the height.
I think there's 2 letters.
That was a rebuttal to the previous committee's suggestion, if you can believe that.
Yeah, this is a new approval, basically replaces the previous, so we just don't put the condition back.
But if this was part of the support that the neighbor gave on condition, then, okay. Panel members, any other questions, discussion, a motion? Discussion?
From what I could see when I was researching this, this neighborhood, there's a lot of additions with terraces on top, again, on 2nd and 3rd stories, so what's being proposed is not out of character. I feel that the applicant has given us sufficient explanations in terms of how this has come about and some things that have changed that didn't require committee decisions, and now we're just here for the railings. So I would be comfortable moving approval, as I feel it does meet the 4 tests, and I would be prepared to put in the condition that the guardrail be 1.07 meters in height with clear glass panels.
Do we have a seconder for that decision?
I'll second.
Okay, so a motion has been moved by Ms. Omen to approve the variance application, including a condition about the glass panels and the railing. Second by Ms. Hayes. All in favor?
1.070 meters in height and clear glass panels.
Okay, all in favor? Okay, the application has been approved. Thank you.
Members of the committee. Have a good day.
We're moving forward to item number 25, 184 Rushton Road, sorry. 184 Rushton Road. The committee has in front of us plan of survey, site plan, floor plans, and elevations, and then we have an urban forestry report. Okay, if we can please have your name and your address.
My name is Evan Broders. I'm at 5 American Services. House is for 184 Rushton.
Sorry, perhaps if you can speak to the mic so it gets recorded on audio.
Yeah, I'm the agent representing 184 Rushton. Jeremy and Lindsay.
Sorry, and your name is Edward?
My name is Edward Broders.
Okay.
And I believe that the variances that we're asking for are minor, and that we're keeping the character in keeping with the character of the neighborhood, and in intent. We're keeping the intent of the zoning bylaws.
Okay, panel members, would you like a presentation or do you want to go into questions? Okay, let's go into questions then.
So I saw from the filings that the existing FSI is 0.96, is that correct? And you're looking for 1.24?
Yes.
Is there other examples?
Well, there's a couple of precedents. A neighbor just to the south at 178, and then there's a new house at 174 Rushton on the back page, and there's a new house which is a pretty high density.
Yeah, so they're equal to or more than you're asking for?
Yes.
Okay, do we have any other questions? So in terms of the height of the exterior main walls, so is that an existing condition except you're extending it back?
Yes.
And it's slightly lower then, right? Because the height.
Yes.
That seems to be high. Okay. Okay, panel members, any other questions? Okay, if you can go into committee discussion or motion.
I just want to say that, again, a lot of homes are deeper and longer. The homes are all quite large, and once again, what's being proposed is not out of context with what's in the neighborhood. If there are no other comments, I'd be prepared to move a motion, including forestry conditions number 1 and 2, for approving it.
Okay, a motion to approve has been moved by Ms. Hayes, including conditions, forestry conditions C1 and, Ms. Omen, including forestry conditions number 1 and 2, seconded by Ms. Hayes. All in favor? Okay, the application has been approved. Thank you. Okay, so we're going to take a 5-minute break, washroom break, and then we'll proceed with the contested items. Thank you. So next item that we'll proceed with will be item number 8, 16 Pearson Avenue. Okay, thank you. So we'll just wait 2 more minutes before Mr. Russell, so Mr. Russell can come. Okay, so I'll just start. Okay, so I can start what the committee has in front of us, so all of you know. So we have the plan of survey, site plan, floor plans, and elevations. We have a report from community planning. We have interest and concern from 10 Pearson Avenue, from 11 Pearson Avenue, and then we have correspondence opposition from 9 Pearson Avenue, 14 Pearson Avenue, 18, 24, 26, 28, 38 Pearson Avenue, 122 McDonald, 17 Galley, 114 McDonald, 7 Westminster, 25 Galley Avenue. Okay, and before we proceed, so how many people are planning to speak? And if you could, one person? Okay, 2. Okay, so 2 people, yeah, so because we would prefer to have a spokesperson representing all of the interests of 3 people. Okay, so you have 5 minutes each, and please make sure not to cover the same points. Okay, so we'll start the hearing. If you can please introduce yourself and your address.
Madam Chair, members of the committee, my name is Ian Cunha. I'm representing the owner of 16 Pearson Avenue.
Okay.
We're asking permission to build a 1-story rear addition with a flat roof balcony and a new wood deck. This addition will be approximately 346 square feet, 15 feet wide by 21.5 feet long, and 13 feet high. If approved, the total GFA for this house will be less than 2,400 square feet. We have 1 minor variance before us under both zoning bylaws, which is the same variance. The allowed GFA, or floor space index, is 0.69. We're asking for 0.76. The existing house is only 34 feet long. We've met all the required setbacks. The length of building is met. We have no height issues. The addition is only 13 feet high. The minimum landscaping required has been met. The goal is to come here with the least amount of variances as possible and as minor as possible, and I believe we've accomplished this.
Okay, thank you. So if we can have the first interested party come up, and please introduce yourself, your address.
My name's Charlie LaRose, and I live at 18 Pearson Avenue, so I'm right beside...
the mic, please.
Okay, I'm Charlie LaRose. I live at 18 Pearson Avenue. I'm right beside, to the west of 16. I know this is classified as a minor variance, but I just want to say that the house is a large house. It's a generous-sized house for this neighborhood. It's 2.5 stories. It's 6 bedrooms. I live in an identical house next door. The variance to this actually increases the footprint at the back of the property by almost 50% of that house. So that takes that addition down almost 1/3 of my backyard to my garden space that I've tried to over the 24 years I've lived there. I've done a sustainable garden and tried to meet all the city requests on porous material so that there's drainage. I've invested time and money with plantings. What this does is change my whole experience of my property because of, and I know you don't deal with light here, but it does make a huge impact. We do face north, so we already deal with a small amount of light where we only get light from the east until it tracks behind the houses, and then later in the afternoon it comes into the west. So when you put, actually you can see this picture up here, so that's a view from my kitchen. Where that white line is where that wall goes back to. So that whole there would be obstructed. Some of that will be natural sunlight. Again, that's only in the morning. But what it does deal with is all the reflected sunlight, the light that gives the sense of air and space and air movement. I mean, it will be a wall blocking air movement. So it makes a huge difference in my yard for more than half the day, and it makes a difference in my house. So this is a view out the window from my kitchen through my dining room. So that will be a wall. So I just want to say it makes a difference. I know it seems minor, but it makes a big difference for our life. I think the original bylaws determining the lot size, the relation of buildings to garden, was so that people could live in maximum spaces in their houses and have some garden space. People grew vegetables, I grow vegetables. People played, everything. And it was a good balance of green space to house space. I think trying to push the variance back upsets that balance. I think the City of Toronto has many, so that's the bylaws for the area. The City of Toronto has lots of bylaws where they're trying to deal with the ecosystem of the city as there's pressures for these kinds of things. I know there's a Toronto Green Standard rule, so they're trying to have you increase your canopy. They want you to do porous. They don't want you to pave things, they want things to be porous so rainwater melt-off can run through. When you add a 15 by 21 foot addition to the back, you are in fact paving over and stopping all that green space and the absorption of the waters. We live in, basements get flooded here, there's an underground river. No matter what the amount of soft landscaping he will do in the backyard, or she will do in the backyard, what we've done is we've taken away a huge amount of green space that's there doing the absorption now. So for the City of Toronto, I don't think that seems contrary to what the City of Toronto is asking all of us to do. It sets a precedent, and I know there's many precedents that have been set in many neighborhoods, but every time we set a precedent, it's one more that's put forward that makes harder for these things to be thought about in a different type of way. So my neighbor on my other side, who is an elderly woman, and will at some point, she'll leave, and if she does it, then I'm going to have walls on both sides. If somebody wanted to do that, but it's the possibility of that, and every time we say...
Okay, sorry, okay. I'm going to have to cut you off. It's past 5 minutes.
That's about all I can.
Okay, just 1 second. Do any panel members have questions? No? I just have a quick question. In terms of the existing condition, are there any other one-story additions in the rear on that street?
They all seem to be within the variance. Some of them seem to, I can only speak to two that are just at number 10 and number 24. They're on bigger lots. Those houses are smaller on the lot, so they have a little protrusion at the back. But I don't think there were variances involved because the house itself takes up a smaller space on the lot.
Okay.
And one of them is from a long, long time ago.
Okay. Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, so if we can have next person, please come up, introduce yourself, your address, and then...
My name is Eric Adams. I live at 38 Pearson, which is down the street about 6 or 7 houses away. I'm going to repeat part of what Charlie has just mentioned, but I can't avoid it otherwise. And I think the proposed variance is going to result in a 10% increase in the building footprint compared to what's there now. And while I fully appreciate the renovations that have gone in and the updates to the insulation, I'm sure the mechanical systems and so on, by building an additional 10%, even if it's today's current standards, building standards, it's still going to be a 10% increase it's still going to result in a higher level of energy consumption than if it were not built. The connection I'm making now, going beyond, is that in addition to the footprint size, you have the loss of the natural environment. But if this is a precedent setting in any way for the neighboring areas and communities even beyond the immediate area, there is recent reports that have indicated both Canada and all the province are likely well off their targeted emissions for global warming and so on. And this is one house on Pearson Avenue that we're talking about. But the implications by extension are substantive, and I think I'm sitting at home and enjoying my retirement. When I started to think about this, I had originally torn up the letter and thrown it out. I saw, okay, it's a slight increase in size. And yes, there'd be some lighting issues. But then I started to think about it, and I started to think about what we're doing in terms of the environment and what we can do. And the houses in this neighborhood have housed several generations within the existing footprint. Yes, people buy a property and they'd like to adapt it to what they would like, but there has to be some constraint on this, and far from me to indicate that we should be telling people that. There's still a higher level here that needs to be addressed, and I think going forward, it has to start with one application, but going forward, the committee has to consider this and get perhaps feedback from the planning department or whatever, the broader issue on this of allowing an increase in the footprint.
Okay.
I think that's...
Okay, thank you very much. Next person, yep.
Hello, so my name is Miho Dimitrievich. I live on 14 Pearson Avenue, just right beside east to this property. Yeah, I'm also a little bit repeating, but I would oppose this proposal. My concerns are light because, as you can see in this map, we will be completely channeled because our east side is already blocked by our neighbor, so 10 Pearson Avenue. And then if this approval was passed, and then it will be another wall beside us on west side, and so we'll be completely channeled. And currently we have every springtime like flooded, basically a lot of rainwater and melted snow water in our backyard, and then yeah, it's always flooded. And then upon this approval, it will be even more water coming into our backyard. So those are my concerns.
Okay, thank you very much. Any questions?
I just have one question. The 10 Pearson, is that a two-story, the part that extends beyond your rear wall?
It is 2 stories.
2 stories?
2 stories.
That extends beyond your rear wall?
Yes.
Okay.
And that's an addition, then?
Yeah, it.
Okay.
It's very narrow house. Yeah, Victorian style narrow house.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so if we can have the agent come up. Sorry, are there any other interested parties that wish to speak? Okay, so just one more. Yeah, very quickly, and please make sure not to cover the same points as were mentioned earlier. And please introduce yourself and your address.
Hillary West, 9 Pearson Avenue. The reason that I oppose is because of the precedents. We are in a very compact neighborhood, a lot of different houses there. You've spoken about what's the neighborhood character, what are all of these things. And frankly, every inch counts. So it might seem like it's minor if there's large plots of land. I mean, people are saying like 384 square feet. I mean, that's a third of my house. Be that as it may. So every inch counts when there's an exception to the variance. So don't exceed the variance, okay, what can you do? I don't think I'd love it, but to go over that, that's what I have a problem with, particularly if my neighbors did that to me after 30 years living there, that would be appalling. And that's all I have to say.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so if we can have the agent come up.
Yeah, Madam Chair, I heard what the neighbors had to say. Unfortunately, like for me, I can only deal with variances before us, whatever the Planning Act deals with. I'd just like to bring to the attention to the committee that this house is a very shallow house. It's only 34 feet wide. The zoning bylaw, and that's all I can go by, is the zoning bylaw, allows us a 17-meter length, which is 55 feet. We're actually short by 6 feet. This first floor that you see is quite small, being 36 feet wide, 36 feet long. This little room that we're doing at the back is basically as a family room. My client has kids, and also a set of stairs to go into the basement for a mudroom for when the kids come in from school. We are providing over the 50% landscaping, soft landscaping requirement, and that's not even taking into consideration the garage that we're going to be building. That's between the garage and the house. We're over the 50% requirement. This application meets the fourth test of the Planning Act, one variance, and in that area going 69 to 76, where normally we're in the 80% and 90%, I think this is a minor variance, and we ask that this committee grant this application.
Okay. Panel members, do you have questions?
You just mentioned that there's others in the neighborhood that are at 80 and 90% FSI?
Yeah, I've been to this committee, many members. I have been here before, and we have gone, and I actually will be here in 2 weeks, with applications in the 80s. Simply because
This neighborhood?
In this neighborhood.
This street?
On this street, on the other side of, closer to Ronsi's, but on this street, yes.
Can you address the matters that were brought up with regards to the increase in footprint and how and the house space and how they affect the light on the other neighbors?
Well, just to give you an idea, we're at 13 feet high. That's the total height of the roof over this of this addition. Garages are allowed to go to 13 feet high in the backyard without having to go to the Committee of Adjustment. So that's how low this roof is. We're also facing north. So the amount of impact from any sun loss, it would be, I couldn't see how 13 feet high when you have buildings right beside that are 10 meters or 30 feet high, how this would be making an impact to the neighbors.
Mr. Kuna, I noticed there are several houses that are longer, and I have additions. How's this going to relate? I know number 10's longer. There's some, the other side, maybe 5, 6 houses down that are quite a bit longer as well. I know there's no length or depth variance, but how is your addition going to compare to some of the other homes that are?
Well, we do have quite a large lot for down there. Like, we're almost at 25 feet wide. So this house being as wide as it is, we did not need to go to the full 17 meters that we're allowed. So I believe in some of the other projects that I've worked on, we've had to go to 17 meters simply because the houses are much narrower. In this case, we did not have to go to.
So you say you're a little bit shorter than?
I would say we're shorter, quite a bit shorter. Like, we try to utilize the 17 meters as much as possible. Like I said, in this case, because the house is wide, we did not need to go out that much. And a lot of that was based on the fact that we wanted to make the stairs to the basement work. Because the existing stairs of the house are so narrow that you can't take anything down to the basements.
Panel members, any other questions? Okay, so in committee discussion.
Well, actually, I do have one other question. I can't remember if you mentioned it or not, but you're aware of the screening?
Yes.
Just by plan?
Yeah, we have no issue with that.
Okay. So once again, we're in committee. Do we have any discussion?
Neighbors' concerns. Ultimately, we're talking about a 20 square meter increase over the bylaw, that being the only variance. I think this is an appropriate development of the site.
As much as I'm sympathetic to the neighbors and the comments that were made, in terms of us having to look at planning rationale, I would agree with Mr. Carlson. This is indeed a minor variance. There are no variances for length, depth, side yards. It's simply for the floor space index. And there are other houses in that very block that in fact have additions or are longer.
I mean, I think what the neighbors have been speaking to is desirability. That gets into a discussion of what we want in an area, and I think this proposal, far more so than a lot of things we see, maintains the physical character, maintains the streetscape, and is ultimately a modest addition that improves the condition on the site.
I would agree with those comments. My only sort of concern is with the deck over the second story and the overlook potential. Now, hopefully, the screening that would be provided, but because the addition is already beyond the rear walls of the other homes, and then you have a balcony on the second story, the overlook issue is a little bit of a concern to me.
That could be mitigated with the condition that planning is suggesting.
And also, the balcony doesn't extend all the way back. Partly why I probably don't have a variance for it.
Okay.
Mr.
If there's nothing further, I would move approval of the application, subject to the planning condition for opaque screening.
And also forestry.
And forestry condition 1.
Okay. So motion to approve has been moved by Mr. Carlson, including planning and forestry condition. Second by Ms. Omen. All in favor? Abstain? Or dissent?
Dissent.
Okay, the application has been approved.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And if I could ask neighbors to all please fill out the decision request forms.
Okay, so we're moving forward with item number 13, 35 Woodfield Avenue. Sorry?
Oh, yes, I do. In fact, I didn't have it written down.
So as Madam Secretary Treasurer mentioned, you can talk to the planner that's outlined on the application. Okay.
Did they fill in their sheet for decision sheet?
Yeah.
If they want to, they can.
Okay. They didn't know that?
So yeah, if there's any appeals procedure, you could file decision and request card, so you could be notified if there's any appeals, which the decision request cards are at the end of this horseshoe. And yeah, and please bring them back to staff members. Okay, so we'll proceed now with item number 35. And
13, I think. 35.
Sorry, item number 13.
This is a tricky one today.
Sorry to confuse you again.
Okay.
So item number 13, 35 Woodfield. So item number 13, 35 Woodfield Road. Are there any interested parties?
That second time they left when I explained to the parking wasn't part of the issue. So he was just concerned about the parking, which is not a variance. So
okay,
we're done with that.
Okay, sorry, just before we proceed, I just want to highlight what we have in front of us. Plan of survey, revised site plan, floor plans, and urban forestry report, as well as elevations. If you can please introduce yourself again and your address, and then we'll proceed with presentations or questions. But
yeah, Andrew Trotter for 35 Woodfield Road. You probably just want to go to questions, but let me just show you one thing quick. This house here is to the north. That's a 3-story addition next to it. And this is the job question. And this is a 3-story house right next door. So the neighbors have given verbal, compliance, and they're okay. They're okay with it. To my the client is here, the homeowner, and there's no opposition. So okay.
Okay. Questions, members? No? Okay. Would you like to move forward with discussion or a motion?
Through you, Madam Chair, I do believe that what's being proposed fits within the context of the neighborhood. As Mr. Trotter mentioned, the house next door is already extended. I feel what's being proposed fits within the character, meets the 4 tests. So I would move approval, including forestry condition number 1.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Okay, So a motion to approve has been moved by Ms. Oman, including forestry condition number 1, second by Ms. Hayes. All in favor? The application has been approved. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Hope you had an enjoyable day today. Adventurous. Yeah. Item number 17, 62 Chester Hill Road. Okay, so if we can please have the agent or the applicant and the interested parties sitting on my left. So before we proceed, the committee has before us plan of survey, site plan, floor plans, and elevations. We have photos of 3D models of the project. We have supporting materials from the agent. We have community planning reports. We have letters of support or no concern, 7 letters from number of addresses on Chester Hill Road. We have 2 signature petition of no opposition signed by occupants of 46 and 552 Chester Hill Road. And then we have number of letters of opposition from 52 Chester Road, 45 Chester Road, 68 Chester Road, 34, 36, 64, 50, 58, 44, and 39 Chester Hill Road. And please introduce yourself, and if you can give us your address in the presentation.
Hi, my name is Michael Boxer, and I'm the architect working with the owners of 62 Chester Hill. Our proposal involves a 3rd floor addition on the top of an existing 2-story brick house. And in order to move forward, we are seeking relief on height, GFA, and a bay window width. We've provided the committee with 8 signed letters of support from the street, including the immediate neighbor on one side. And we've also provided examples of other 3rd floor additions in the neighborhood, in the nearby neighborhood. We would like to make a request to amend the variances. We've been working with the staff at the city, your staff, over the last week, and there was a concern over the height, which they felt could be mitigated by stepping the 3rd floor back and by lowering the height of the side walls. So we've working with Stephanie Hong last week, we provided revised drawings that demonstrate that we would lower the main walls by 0.4 meters and step the third floor facade back 30 inches.
Okay.
Which variance are you revising then?
The height, the main wall height, which was
10 to 9.6?
yeah, from 10 to 9.6.
What is the step back going to do to FSI?
Those plans were submitted along with the staff report. I believe it's.
Okay, so.
What is FSI? New FSI?
Do you know what the new FSI is going to be with the changes?
I'm sorry?
Do you know what the new FSI is going to be? No?
We do not. The Stephanie Hong said not to worry about that.
Well, that's incorrect because that information should have all been submitted to the Committee of Adjustment staff prior to, when the agendas get printed on the Friday. And unless you have those figures for us, we can't incorporate that revision into the FSI if you don't have.
Well, the revision would be on the height.
Okay, but we need the numbers from you. We need the revisions from you. Otherwise, we're going to have to defer it.
The only revision we're seeking is on the height.
But it changes the FSI because you're stepping back, right?
Change FSI, you change the GFA.
We can't keep the FSI as it is?
No.
I have a question. So in terms of these revised plans, so they were shared with the interested neighbors?
Yes, they are.
They are, okay. So committee members, would you like to proceed with this application?
We need numbers.
I just have a point of clarification. So you're saying you're stepping back the third floor, and that was part of your discussions with the planner?
Yes.
So, and that's part of the revised plans that you've got support of from the neighbors and things like that?
Well,
so I guess what would be the,
I
the
don't
FSI is impacted,
We don't know.
I don't know
I'm
if these.
He hasn't submitted the support.
I don't know. That's why I'm asking.
Well, so the question here is, do we want to proceed with this? Do you want to defer, or would you like to hear from the concerned neighbors first?
We don't know, yeah. GFA and FSI, we don't know.
Can we just revise variance number 1 and then tie our approval to plans?
Yes, but it's not something we have ever done, and it would not be a good practice.
I'm not a zoning examiner, so I don't have time, and I can't check plans that you're going to submit today to see if there are other variances.
Effectively.
Your decision, because then people rely on those decisions later on, and if that's not exactly what was approved, then about that is saying it was approved.
we have, I had written correspondence with the planning department saying that they wanted us to proceed without providing that GFA change. It was a question that we presented to them.
Like, they're two separate departments. You should have spoken to Committee of Adjustment. The planner writes a report or doesn't write a report. That then gets submitted to Committee of Adjustment, and they're the ones that take in the materials. So you need to ask them, because we need the numbers for revisions.
Is there any way that if I took 5 minutes, I could give you that number here?
You got to take a deferral, my friend. Today we are in the morning here, and we're out of here by 12 o'clock. So if you don't give us the numbers now, then
I mean, I like, from a chair's perspective, if you can step down and give us numbers in 5 minutes, then we can hear from the neighbors. Yeah, we could do that.
My real feeling is that this is a fairly substantial change anyway.
Yeah.
I would much prefer to have been distributed.
Which I agree. So I would like to hear from the neighbors to hear what they think of the revised changes.
The change was submitted on, along with the report to you guys, I guess, on Friday.
But we got that this morning. So.
The report that Stephanie did on last week.
That's correct, yeah. Okay, so how about we do that? How about we, if you can step down, make the calculations to find out what the new updated FSI would be, and then we'll hear from the concerned neighbors. Since they're already here, I think.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, so if we can have, so do we have spokespeople who would like to speak? Okay, so yeah, if you can come to the microphone, please introduce yourself, your address, and please make sure to stick to the planning.
Yes, thank you.
Variances.
My name is Robert Corcoran. I live at 44 Chester Hill Road. I guess, looking at the application, I mean, development happens, upgrades happen, that's part of residential housing in Toronto. The city's positions regarding the continuity preservation of the neighborhood character are very key items of interest to those of us living in the area. We work closely with the city on the Broadview Avenue planning study, and we have, for whatever reason, a neighborhood which has had continuity over the years in terms of the form factors of the houses, the roof styles, the roof lines. One observation on the submissions that were provided by the applicants was that they didn't seem to show the proposed new house in context with the surrounding houses in the neighborhood. I can provide, I guess, on here a picture of the existing house. Sorry. There. On here in the middle, you have the existing number 62, to the left number 60, and to the right number 64. So 62 fits in here as it stands. And then looking down the street, that's number 62, and you can see the lines of the houses flowing down the street. Our request is that the plans for the house have a reasonable compliance, some way of expanding the house, adding the second story on, but maintaining the sight lines of the street. That our neighborhood is very livable right now. It has character which has carried forward since the 1920s, and we recognize the fact that it's continuing to evolve. We've had major renovations done in many houses, but for the most part, with the character carrying forward, and that's what we're asking to be provided. In addition, area of concern here, and I have a staff report I can provide on this.
Oh, you can give it to me. Sorry, maybe if you can just
Yes, so this is the background. The house at number 60, you can see the two chimneys in the middle here of the two houses, the white gabled and their dormer in the second story beside number 62. When you're putting a fireplace in, there's a 10-foot rule. When houses are built in a neighborhood, originally the roof lines all more or less align, so you have compatibility. And so you have a requirement that your chimney has to have a line of clear space with no roof walls in front of it for a radius of 10 feet at a depth of 2 feet below the top of the chimney. In this case, that's fully supported. If the house is raised with a vertical wall on the west side, that will compromise the chimney integrity at number 60, providing a risk in terms of carbon monoxide, violating building code, violating TSSA, and potentially violating the insurability of the house. So from a compatibility perspective, I guess we're just asking that developments that are done take into account the impact on adjacent homes.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much. Do we have any questions, panel members? Okay, thank you very much. Okay. Warwick has it. Just please make sure to present new information rather than...
Hi, my name is Reinhold Wieth. I own number 52 Chester Hill Road. I've lived in the area since 1969, and I think a lot of reason people buy on the street is it does have a certain character. And that's largely why I'm upset here. And I read the correspondence from other neighbors that submitted. And it essentially all falls into the character of the neighborhood, and I tend to agree with the previous speaker, Rob, that what's proposed is not something that would keep the street the same. And the problem that we as neighbors have is the third floor additions tend to fall into two categories. One, the kind that you hardly even notice is there, and two, the kind that is kind of dropped by a helicopter on top of a house. And I have to confess, the way it's presented here, it does appear that the whole structure is a new box that makes the house certainly strikingly different. So of course, although there are lots of variances, and interestingly about the chimney, the neighborhood, I would argue, would be less disagreeable about minor variances and the like if it would turn out that the house would be more consistent with the regular look of the street. So appearances, yes, because of the appearances, people will focus on the technicalities like gross floor area and coverage of the land, etc.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else?
Morning, my name's Anne Louise Aboud. I'm at 58 Chester Hill Road. And I guess my comments echo both Reinhold and Rob. My primary concern really was, it's a beautiful house that they're designing, but to me, it just, in its current form, it's a bit of a Sesame Street thing. It's kind of like this. One of these houses does not belong with the others. And I feel these are all century homes. People have gone to, and I think we need to distinguish neighborhood versus the street. Character of Chester Hill Road really is particular, where we haven't had infills. We've had no one building modern houses, and that's really because of the concern of local residents. We all chose to live on this street for a reason. We like the historic character, and there's been many renovations over the past number of years, and each resident on the street has taken pains to really try and integrate their renovations with the surrounding context. And that's my largest objection at the end of the day. I don't really want to see 62 set a precedent, because it's really at the foot of Cambridge. It's a very visible house, and I think that that may potentially open the floodgates to anybody else that buys a house or any other house that changes hands, or anyone that wants to make a renovation, that you know, we've allowed this ultra-modern house on the street, and then we kind of lose the character that a lot of us hold dear. So that's really my primary concern. The variances is maybe a little secondary. I don't, for the reasons Rob described, I think it's important that we not approve huge variances because of all the impending development on Broadview Avenue through the Broadview Avenue planning study. A lot of people are appealing those design guidelines that were recommended by neighbors. And so I think it's important that we as residents be a little bit consistent, you know, in terms of advocating for or disapproving of huge variances on renovations.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thanks.
Yep.
Hello, my name is John Seofis. I'm the owner of the property. And just very briefly,
Owner of which property?
Of 62 Chester Hill, yes,
Okay.
the property requesting the variance. We've been working with our neighbors and have heard the complaints, and I just wanted to clarify clearly that.
Are you opposing it?
No.
No.
Are you speaking to the comments made by neighbors?
I'm sorry, my apologies.
Instead of the agent?
He's finishing his calculations, and I just wanted to give the committee, if I may, a quick response to the comments, if I can, if not.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, you can go ahead.
So while Mr. Boxer finishes the calculations, very briefly, I wanted to, while the committee has to make the decisions as to whether the variance is acceptable, our plan is to keep the brick facade of the house. We do have, and we have submitted pictures of three-story houses in the neighborhood, some that have a flat roof like what we're proposing, and there are many that do not. And so while the architectural drawings show different facades, there are a number of houses that have added front third stories, and if I may, I'll show a picture of just one that happens to be across the street from 62 Chester Hill. So that was a recent approval of a three-story with a flat roof, and that's one of about 13 three-story houses, and there's about 14 or 15 flat roof houses in the neighborhood just on that three-street cluster. If we go, this is the Plater Estates area, if we go on the other side of Broadview, there are countless examples of this, and so our commitment to the neighbors has been that we're not looking to put new cladding and change the look of the house and all, we're keeping the brick. We will do that box bay window that we're requesting and then a front roof, but our intent is not to drop something in that is inconsistent in that manner with the property. And there are other examples in the committee's materials of other houses just on that three-street cluster.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Panel members, do you have any questions? So maybe if we can have the agent come back.
Yeah, so I have the numbers that were requested. The variance number 2, where we were requesting a 0.7 times for the FSI, we'd be revising that to 0.69.
And that is in square meters?
Yes.
And what would...
Oh, sorry, the revised square meters is 208.47.
208.47 meters squared. And how about under variance, under bylaw 43886? Because I believe that's calculated slightly differently.
Yes, that one is 0.68.
Okay, and meter squared?
Sorry, if you just give me a quick second.
Yep.
0.45 square meters.
205.45 meters squared. Okay.
That's right.
Panel members, would you like to add anything else in terms of reinforcing the character of neighborhood and what, I guess you weren't here when the neighbors were speaking to on that
I've
point?
been speaking with them at length outside.
Okay. No, okay.
What is the height of the roof peak now?
Of the existing pitched roof?
Yes.
Sorry, can you just repeat that?
28 feet and a half inches. Yeah, when you do metric, everything is metric.
It's on the drawings too, but we can't see the numbers.
Yeah. My eyes are going as well. That question is in relation to what we're proposing on the...
I'm sorry, what is it? 8.8?
Any other questions? Okay, so I'm assuming we're moving into in committee discussion.
Frankly, I don't think 9.6 versus 10 makes a whole lot of difference. I think this is wholly inappropriate to the character of the street. I mean, even, yes, the applicant pointed out the building directly across the street. Height is maybe something we could talk about, but that does have a mansard roof. Yes, it's flat. This has nothing. This goes straight up to a flat roof. 9.6, 10 setback or not, these are vertical walls to the full height of the structure. There's nothing. And it's a structure that is substantially taller than its immediate surroundings. I can't support this.
Okay.
I think I will agree with Mr. Carlson I think there's a lot of issues here with regards to this application beyond the height. The issue of the character of the neighborhood, the opening of the floodgate to have activities that result from an approval of this application would cause a domino effect which would spoil the character of the neighborhood. And I'm sorry, I wouldn't be able to support this application.
Do any other panel members have anything to add or to the discussion? Or
my concerns mainly relate to the character of the neighborhood. I don't see anything that's similar, and I don't think it is appropriate for that reason.
I'd like to add, I mean, that's why the main wall height variances came into play to kind of prevent this from happening. So I would agree. I mean, that's the other variances I don't have an issue with, but the height and also the change in the character of the neighborhood with what's being proposed.
Yeah, I don't have much to add except for the fact that we have official plan policies that speak to reinforcing the character of the neighborhood, and from my perspective, I don't feel like this house fits well within what's currently there on site. So, planning panel members, a motion then?
I would move refusal of the application as it does not meet the intent of the official plan and that it does not fit the physical character of the existing area, and that the main wall height variance is not within the intent of the bylaw.
Okay. Second that.
Okay, motion to refuse has been moved by Mr. Carlson, second by Mr. Russell. All in favor? Okay, the application has been denied. Thank you.
Yes. As amended.
As amended.
An opportunity is for a question or comment?
Sure. No.
Decision has been made.
Yeah. No, I understand the decision that was made. I just, in terms of...
If you want to appeal it here, you go to T-Lab.
I'm sorry?
If you want to appeal it, you can go to T-Lab.
I will allow a question or a comment.
Yeah, just moving forward, as we worked carefully with the planning staff last week, and their report supported this application, so we could have been open to continuing to work. So it's just...
and I hear comments and really appreciate the fact that you have been working with planning staff and adjusting your proposal, but we have 4 decision-making criteria that we need to rely on when we make our decisions, and one of them is reinforce the existing character of the neighborhood. So that's what we rely on. But thank you so much. Okay, so the morning hearing has been adjourned at 11:50.